Jumbo. Welcome to the night stream. We're going to do something a little bit different in this night stream, in that I'm going to show you how to do a preview of an image, and also how to save it inside a folder. You see this uploads folder here? That's where we're going to save it, instead of what we did earlier today, where we saved the image inside the database. We're also going to do a resize, so that should be fantastic. Now, just to let you know that right now I am actually live streaming on YouTube, on Rumble, on Odyssey, and also on what's this? Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey. Oh yeah. So YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, BitChute, 4 of them at the same time. I'll show you the script I'm using. I actually have a sample here. I'll show you all that in this. Yeah, I'll show you the script. So as I said, for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is, you see, this is going to be, it's not really, it's a complement of this tutorial so far series, where the first time I just created the front end, which was the HTML multiple file upload using AJAX. And then in the second one, which we did today, I did the one how to handle basically create the endpoint, basically for this fetch API. So that's what we did today. Now, so I'm gonna show you other things today. You can ask me any questions in this live stream. So where I'm showing you the code. So the purpose of this tutorial is just ask me anything. So you can ask me anything, don't worry about it, because the purpose, I said, of this tutorial is just to expand on the knowledge from the last 2 tutorials. And what I'll do is next week, I'll take some of the information from today's tutorial and I'll create a dedicated article, and also obviously we'll do something else. Most likely we'll do video, and next one, how to upload videos and resize them. So today is just a continuation of that. So I don't want to redo this again, so that's why I'm going to make this as long as possible, so you can ask me literally anything. So it's going to be based on, I said, what we did earlier today. So I'll just do a quick run through of what we did today. As you see, it says upload successful, and I said unfortunately it saved the files in the database. Now that's perfectly fine if the files are small, because we have to convert them into blobs, basically just text files. That is not usually that's not recommended, because the files can get very, very big. So another thing we didn't do in earlier tutorial, we didn't actually create the delete part. I've done this before, and I even showed you how to do it here, but we'll do that in today's tutorial. We'll have an endpoint which will do all of that. So somebody requested today, a subscriber wanted to know what he actually requested it yesterday. I don't know if it's a he or she. I'm assuming it's a he. They requested, they want to know what an API is. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to split the code up a little bit. So we're going to create 3 files overall, but you can do it all in 1 file. But I think separating 3 files will help you. I'll show you how you can reuse the files and as well. So we're going to do AJAX. We're going to do the fetch API, we're going to do PHP, the upload, we're going to do a database, we're going to use MariaDB again, but you can use MySQL. And of course, we're also going to create a folder to save the files instead of saving them inside the database. And we're also going to have previews. So when you do your uploads, you're going to see a preview upload, and also the resize is going to be done by JavaScript, not PHP. Okay? Alright, see the screenshots from earlier today. So let's actually get started. So I said the code from earlier today, you can see that here. So let's get started. So in order not to waste you guys' time, what I also did was I created some demos here, so we can take a look at them. So let's actually take a look at the code first. So the first thing we want, a quick reminder of what the code from earlier today is. So what I'm going to open this up, and we're not going to need the command line, but I'll just do it here. Okay, clean this up a little bit first. So I started because I'm a freelance programmer. So what I did was I created some, I already have Apache running locally, and I have the full LAMP stack because I'm running Fedora Linux. I have Apache Linux, MySQL, and PHP. So already earlier today, you guys might have seen me doing systemctl start. I did MariaDB, and I also did HTTPD as well. So those are already running. I've left the workstation on all this, so those are already running. And the only thing I need to do here is I'm gonna, instead of using Apache, I'm gonna also use the built-in PHP server. So I'll get that running as well. And I'll use 8000. So it's PHP space hyphen capital S space 0.0.0.0 : 8000. The reason I use zeros is that allows me to use localhost 122.0.0.1 and the IP address of this workstation. Because if I use the IP address of the workstation, I can go to another device like the phone or another laptop, anything connected network, and I'll be able to connect to it there. So just press enter, and you see it's going to use the development server. Now, this development server is meant for testing. It's not meant to be used in a production environment. One of the other issues with this development server is you see it doesn't have HTTPS, so just be aware of that. But for our purposes, it worked perfectly fine. Of course, I could have used the Apache server, but I wanted sometimes when you're learning, you don't need anything fancy, so we'll just stick to this. It's pretty simple. Okay, so without running, I'm just going to minimize this because we don't need that anymore. In fact, I should actually take it out of here. Actually, no, I'll leave it here because if there's any errors, they will show up in here as well, the error log. So rather than. Then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up I'm already running the Chromium browser because, as I said before, I'm live streaming on. I'm going to check right now. Give me a second. I'm going to check to see if everything's okay in Rumble. It says it's running. Let me go check the Rumble one. Make sure everything is up and fine. Okay, it's showing me an ad, and there's no way I can get rid of the ad. Okay, skip ad. Okay, another ad. Oh my goodness. I want skip ad. Okay, yeah. So Rumble is working fine. I'm gonna check BitChute. The problem with is it Odyssey? Okay, Odyssey doesn't. Okay, what is going on here with Odyssey? Okay, Odyssey. I have no idea how to. Is it publish? I go to publish. No, local setup. Okay, I guess. Oh, Odyssey. I did copy. Thank goodness, I did copy the URL for Odyssey. Looks like I have. Yeah, Odyssey doesn't make it easy to click around. So give me a second here. I'm gonna check Odyssey. Hopefully, I go to my channel. I will go to. Is it uploads or something? My channel page. Okay, it says it's having trouble starting the stream. So let me click it there. Hopefully, give me a second here. Okay, so the stream is also working there. I just muted it. So the stream is working fine for Odyssey, for Rumble and BitChute. So sorry about that. And obviously YouTube is working fine as well. All right, so let's continue. Oh, I forgot. I do need the web browser here. So I'm going to open up the web browser here. Since we don't need too much, what I'll do is I'll make this a little bit smaller because we don't need to be that big, and we actually need to yeah. So just make it. Can I make this smaller? Okay, I guess not. Okay, that's fine. So let me actually let me log into before I do this, let me actually log into, I'm going to use PHP MyAdmin. I'm going to log in here. Okay, oops, what happened here? What the? Am I using the proper web browser? Yes, I am. What? Never seen that before. Okay, that's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. That is, I'm wondering if it might be the port number issue, but so that's fine. So that is working. That's what I want. I don't know why it's doing that. And so we have the first demo. I'll show you the first. Oh, I want to show you the what we did earlier today first. I'll show you that. So that one was it was this one, multiple file upload. So what is it here again? HTTP localhost 8000, and then it's multiple file upload. So as you can see, that's what we did earlier today, and basically just drag and drop the files here, then they'll show up into the database. It was this database, uploaded files. I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah, so it showed up here in the uploaded files. As you can see, this is what we did earlier today. So this does work, and so the problem is this was it was saving the file name, which is fine, the MIME type is fine, and then it was also saving the size, which is also okay, and then it was also saving, you see, as a blob file data. That's what it was doing earlier today. So this wasn't a good, this is not good, because if the files are very large, you can run out, maybe especially when you are trying to maybe clone the database, or you're trying to move it, or you're trying to just make a backup. So it's going to be ridiculously large. It's better to just leave them here in a separate folder and just reference them from the database. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, one of the things the subscriber asked was, can you compress this further or resize it? Yes, so that's what today's tutorial is about. We can resize it from JavaScript, but again, as I said, if you only have a few files, that's perfectly fine. But most likely, if you have a front-facing thing, meaning people can log in and upload, they could upload multiple files, and then this could be a problem again. Even if you, and what people, especially these days, most people have a phone. Even the most, my phone, for example, is a mid-range phone, right? And it's capable of probably doing like 32-bit, 32K or something like that type of images. Those are going to be extremely large. And some phones, even mid-range phones, can do raw files. So that could be even larger, right? So that could be a problem. So I said it's always better to put the files in a folder. That also allows you to have multiple files. For example, what I mean by that is one file, you could resize it to maybe 1080p, 720p. You can have a thumbnail size and all of that. The problem, if you could also do that in the database, but then the database is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's not. I would not recommend you doing it that way. Instead, it's better to create a file and then a folder, and then you can create as many of the files as needed. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is, as I said, this one, all you do is drag and drop. So I'm just going to do a simple example here. I'm going to take this, looks like a forest thing, and if you look at the time, I wish I displayed the time here. We'll know this will be the last one. See, it says 009. So we just drag it here. You see file uploaded successfully. So if we go to the database, I don't know why it's still doing that. That is weird. So it should be here. This was an AVF file, so it should be here. If you look at the time, I stopped the live stream around this time at 14:42, meaning 2 p.m. 2:42 p.m. So right now it's night. It's 8:45 or 8:46. So when I refresh, we should see something different. So I'm going to click refresh here, and we go down, and you see the time has changed. It says 20, so that's correct. That's the correct time right now, 2086. So this is the file that's uploaded. Now, I don't have a mechanism, some improvements to check to see if the file was previously uploaded. Obviously, it's the exact same file as this one. So that's another thing you can do as well. So that's what I'm saying. I'm teaching you guys that you should always validate and do some type of sanitization. For example, with the way this form is, there's nothing preventing somebody trying to upload 100 files, 1,000 files, etc. So I'm saying yours have That's up to you to decide, but I'm just saying be aware, think of issues you could have. Obviously, I would never do something like this as anybody upload anything you want, because that's just insanity. I probably need to log in or just restrict it to a few trusted people or something like that, right? All right, so that was today's tutorial. And I said the not problem, but some improvements, as I said, were if somebody has a very large file, maybe you want to restrict the file upload size, or you want to show some thumbnails. So when it says upload successful, that's fantastic. But maybe let me take a look at it. Maybe take a look at the thumbnails. Maybe I can replace it. So that's what we're doing in today's tutorial. And I said I'll use the concepts from today's tutorial, and then I will what do you call it? I'll take some of them and create a dedicated tutorial, maybe for videos, uploading videos, resizing them for a future tutorial. I've done tutorials like that in the past, but I guess it's time to create a modern version of something like that. Okay. I just remember that I forgot to show you this multi-stream script file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to minimize this for now, and as you can see, this is our log file. I'll zoom out just a little bit so you see it posted to the proper place, and there's no file icon, but that's not needed for this development site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the GNOME text editor. I'm hoping this tutorial, this live stream doesn't take too long. So here's the GNOME text editor. So I'm going to show you, this is not part of the tutorial, but I'm doing, as I said, I'm doing live stream to 4 streams, and this is what I'm doing. So in OBS, what I did was I put this. I'll show you my settings in OBS in a second. So this is the input URL. This is what you. Let me zoom in. Sorry, I forgot about that. So what I did was in OBS, I used this URL. You don't need a key. You can make up a fake key. It's just going to be ignored anyway. So you see it says RTMP. It goes here, and then I'm using FFmpeg. I'm using FFmpeg from RPM Fusion. The reason I'm doing that is I realized that Blender and FFmpeg were missing including OBS, they were missing the H.265, which makes files smaller than H.264. So my FFmpeg version is from RPM Fusion. The OBS version is from Flatpak, and the Blender version is also from Flatpak. That's why you guys, when you saw me doing the Blender tutorials, I was saying that because I don't want to type org.org, whatever, org.blender.blender, I create some aliases. That's why you guys saw that. And it's way faster. Even the video editing is so much faster as well. Video editing is faster. When I render on the command line, it's even faster as well. Although I rendered to H.64, and that's because of Odyssey. Odyssey, for some reason, they don't support H.264. I think all the others support H.264 and other codecs, only Odyssey. So I have to make it H.264. Come on, Odyssey. When you saw me doing the Blender tutorials, I was saying that because I don't want to type org.org, whatever, org.blender.blender. Okay, who is that? I created some aliases. That's why you guys saw that. And it's way faster. Even the video editing is so much faster as well. Okay, why is this? Oh, that was mute shoot. I thought I muted it. I don't know why it started doing that again. All right, where was I again? Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, I got lost here. Yeah. So that's you see the URLs. You can add more if you want. Then I also create a log file in case something goes wrong, and I have a bonus. You see here I have some arguments for FFmpeg, meaning the output will not go to the the display on the command line. The thread queue size is set to 512. The reconnect, meaning that it will reconnect automatically. So let's say something happens with OBS, and I'm like, oh shoot, OBS crashes or something. I can just restart OBS, and start streaming, and it's automatically gonna reconnect instead of hanging, and then I have to restart the FFmpeg, or in this case the script. So that's why I did that. Reconnect stream 1, reconnect delay max is 5, RTM underscore live, log level info, and then the stats. So so when I stop it, what it will do, on the command line it will say stopping multi-stream, and because there's no way to really stop it, you have to put Control-C or something. In this case, if it hasn't stopped yet, so it will, I just p-kill it, and then the log file will be saved as log file here. If you remember, we log file here in my home folder, multistream.log. And what else is here? And here's the ffmpeg command. In case you're interested, it says listen. So it's going to listen to 1. The input, which will be the input here, that's the one we put in OBS. And then it will take the arguments. Remember, we just created the arguments up there. So this is how you create arrays and or array objects and pass in variables into I guess I'm on bash script. And then of course we copy, just say copy, so basically it copies that stream, and -f means FLV, that's the streaming protocol command or option. You see the YouTube URL, the Odyssey URL, the Rumble URL, and the BitChute URL. So if you have more, so you just copy them down here. You could also make this a script where you could say only 2, 3, but it's just manual, it's just fast. And then after that, we also, just a second, I have a customer calling me. Hello, Ed speaking. Hey, Krishna, I'm actually doing a night stream right now. Okay, no problem. I think I got your text message as well. I heard it beep. No problem. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow. Okay. Okay, so that was the customer. He do understand me a text earlier, so no problem, no big deal. Yeah, so then after that we pipe it into T, and then it will create the log file. So if you don't know what T is, I can explain it in a future tutorial, but basically what it does is it's able to split something and then take that signal put it to another file or send it to another application. All right, and that's it. And just says echo stream ended. That's it. FFmpeg expect cleanly. So that's the script I did. Now, obviously, all I had to do was put this into OBS and just change these URLs to and place in the stream keys. Okay, so that was that. Okay. Oh, and then I'll show you my OBS settings. So you can, hold on. You can see the OBS version I'm using is OBS 32.0.1. That's the latest one in Flatpak. So I go to settings. In my settings, you see stream. I'm using custom, and you can see this URL is the same one from that script file. And then I don't have a stream key, so you can put something there. You see use authentication, it's not set. The stream key doesn't matter at all. Okay, so that's it. What else? If you want to see my output, just to show you what I'm doing, you see I'm using the libfdkacc. I'm using when you see VAAPI, that's obviously the AMD GPU. So you see it says H264. And then when you see this one, which says Cezanne Radeon Vega Graphics / Mobile Series, that's the integrated graphics. And these are the settings here. I could probably bump this up a little bit. And then we'll go to recording. And you see recording, I don't use the same as the stream settings. As you can see, I also changed this to hybrid. That's because sometimes in the future I want to put some markers. So I want to be able, I have a Python script to grab all the markers and to convert them into JSON. I could also do it to convert it into Blender markers, but I said that's just a pain in the butt. The JSON one is fine because I usually I would probably need three or four markers. So I can just read the JSON file and know, okay, go to this timeline, go to this timeline, and that should be perfectly fine. And if you see here, I also use VA API because my graphic card supports it. Both of them do, the integrated one and the AMD Instinct MI60. And you see it says HBAC, that's H.265. And I use also the encoder, you see it's the same lib, FDK, AAC. And yeah, so if we go down here, you can see it says also Vega 20, but this time it's the AMD, right? I was going to say Ryzen. Instinct MI, it's actually MI60, but MI50, it's the same drivers, 32 gigs. And this is what I used. I used the main profile for H.265, level set to auto, rate control is CQP, and the QPSA to 20, the keyframe I left to the auto 0, and I didn't put any FFF options. So that's it. So that's the setting, and that's we go back to just cancel. Okay, so that's it. Put it back here. All right, so we can continue here. So as I said before, the first one we're going to look at is this one, the demo upload preview. Excuse me. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And so basically what you need is you need an input file, and you see you always need to put multiple. They allow multiple uploads. And then we see where it says accept. The only one we're going to accept are images. So it's image slash, and the asterisk means we accept all types of images. If you want a specific image, you can just put JPEG, for example, or PNG, or AVIF, or WebP, and it will only accept those ones. So I'll show you this, how it works later. And then we have here, it says preview container. So there's a div here. And then for our script, what happens is, you see we're going to add an event listener to this input. When it changes, what we'll do is we'll grab the preview container here, and then we'll make it empty. That's inner HTML equals basically clear whatever it had before. And then we look at all the files. You see it says files equals event.target.files. So that's how you get from an event listener. And then we checked if the files are not empty, so we just put if files. Then we just use a simple for loop. You loop through all of them. Files.length means, if you remember, as I said earlier today, in computers, the numbering starts at 0, not at 1. So meaning that if you have 2 files, it will be 0, 1. Okay, if you have 2 files, so if you have 3 files, it's going to be 0, 1, 2. So meaning that when it says files.length, you see it says less than files.length. So in this particular case, if I use the example of 3 files again, so it's going to be 4. Sorry, I mean 3. But because it says less than, so it's going to go 0, 1, 2, which 2 is actually the 3. Hope that makes sense. It took me a while when I was learning this, it was confusing me, but yeah, that's how it works. So what we do is we grab the first whatever file the I is, because every time it iterates this, it's going to be 0, 1, 2, and etc. up to the end. Then we check to see, we also confirm that it's an image. You see it says file type starts with image. Then what we do is we create a file reader. And then what we do is when the file is created, the reader, see it says reader on load, means it's loaded obviously when it's actually created. So then it will grab it. What it do is it will create an image using image tag. The source is going to be eTarget.result. The alt is just going to be image preview, anything you want here. And then we're going to add a class of preview image. You don't need to do this, but I did this because there's some CSS styling. And then otherwise, if you don't put the CSS styling, for example, when I was testing this earlier today, image was so huge, it takes up the space. You guys will see that later. If there's no styling here, but you'll see why. And then after that, you can also the preview container, which is a div. We wrap it. We say, you see here, we add a class called preview wrapper, and then we append this child, and then we append the preview as well. and then you see read as data URL. So we need to do this. So it grabs the data and it makes a URL. That's what the source attribute is for. So that's our script. You can see here there's no styling, so you're going to see when we test this what it looks like. So this is the first one. You see it's the demo upload, this one here. I'm going to copy it as well. Let's go back to our we're going to go back to our web browser here. So again, I just type I could do 127. They're all the same. I don't remember what I used. I think I used localhost. Yeah, I used localhost. And then what is it? 8,000, I think it was, slash. This one is demo upload preview.html. Okay. As I said, there's no styling, so it doesn't look as pretty as this one, but you can make. I showed you guys the CSS and styling earlier. You can make it as pretty as you want. So if I click on choose files, I'm going to pick this thumbnail here. I click open, and you can see what happened. You see that? This is why, you see, when the image is so huge, this is what's going to happen. You see the image is massive here, right? So this is this image is just 1280 by 720, so it's 720p. So you can imagine if, as I said, if you take one of the regular images right from your camera, it's going to be way too big. So that's why for a preview, this doesn't make sense. Now, if it's a very tiny one, like 5 icons, yeah, you can probably get away with that. But I said most of the images are going to be way bigger than even this one. So that's why I said you need to put some styling and stuff like that. But this is basically a preview. So if I change this, for example, let me change a different one. I'll pick, I think this one we're doing tomorrow. But let me pick another one. Wow, why is this so huge? Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna pick the vertical one. So I click open, and you can see the vertical one is here. You see, it's still way too big as well, right? So so that's the preview. All right. Next, I have this one where I do a preview and what's the name of this one? And a preview and a resize. So I'll show you how that one works. Let's go back here, drag and drop it in here. So the code is pretty much the same. This time you see I have some styling. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So I use display flex. This is not a styling tutorial. I said you guys can style it any way you want. So I gave it a border, gave some padding, 10 pixels, a gap of 10 pixels, flex wrap, a margin top of 20 pixels, and then for the preview wrapper, I gave it a width of 100 pixels, height 100 pixels, overflow is hidden. It's going to be display flex, sorry. The justify content is set to center, align item center, border, I gave it a 1 pixel solid, and a midish grayish color. For the preview image, the max width is 100%, the max height is 100%, object fit cover. What this means is that if the image is too small, it will adjust and cover the container, its parent, or the max width and max height. Now, if it's too big, it will also be scaled down to fit that that container or that constrained size. That's what object fit does. Now, this works for not just for the image tag. It also works for something like iframes and as well, as long as it's an object. So that's usually what that is. I'll explain that later when we look at the JavaScript. Again, as you see, the input is exactly the same. It's type file. Multiple means it accepts multiple files, and you accept. You see when you're accepting images. And then what we go here, we have a button to upload. Right now it's disabled. You put disabled, so it's gonna be like a light grayish to indicate it's disabled. We also have a preview container, same as well. And here you see it says upload URL. Obviously, I haven't shown you the endpoint yet. The max width is going to be 800 pixels for the resizing, and you see we're gonna we're going to grab the image upload, the upload button, and the preview container. We just put them into variables. And then the resized files, we're going to have an array to hold them. And then you see when you do the image, again, when it's changed, the event listener, what we're going to do is you see the same thing as before. The preview, the area, we're going to empty it, and we're going to create all of the resized files. So what we do is we grab, you see files equals length equals 0, then we're going to, the upload button is going to be disabled. So meaning that when you reach the last one, it's going to be disabled. So we just return. So again, we're going to process them. If they starts with image slash, that means it's an image. And then we're going to resize the blob. You see, we're going to use an await thickness function, resize image. That's a function. We're going to split the file and the max width. And then if resize blob, and then we're going to use resize files push. That's how we can push things into an array in JavaScript. You see, we're going to give the name, the blob, which is going to be the resize blob, and then create a preview function here. Then the upload button, it's going to be disabled if the length is equal to 0, meaning that if there's no actual resized files, it's going to stay disabled. Otherwise, it will be false, which means it's actually true. Then the button will be shown. Hope that makes sense. Then here's our resize image function. Obviously, it's going to take in two arguments, the file and the max width. And then what we do is we're going to use a promise, and we're going to resolve it. So basically what will happen is we create a reader. I showed you guys how to create a reader before, the ones we're doing for the preview. So on load, the same thing as before. We create a new image. And then on load, meaning that image has been created just like before. We set the width and the height to the image width and height. And then what we do is we check to see if the width is greater than the max width. If it is, then the height will have to be adjusted. We just round it using the height times the max width divided by the width. This is just very simple basic math, and the width will be set to the max width. And then on the canvas, we create a canvas. So this canvas is not actually going to be seen because it's going to be created, but it's not going to be seen because we're not going to put it actually on the document. So we set the width to the width and the height to the height, and then we draw, because this is just an image, it's a flat, so meaning it's two-dimensional, so that's why the get context is 2D. It's not 3D, it's 2D. And the context, we draw the image, that our image 0, 0, and then the width and height. So once it's drawn on the canvas, then with the canvas we get the blob, and that's, remember I showed you that's how we're going to resolve it. So the blob will be there, and we're going to create it as an image slash JPEG, and we're going to the quality will be 0.9. Now, one thing I noticed about Chromium browsers is they're really weird. When I was doing this a few years ago, they would default to either PNG. I'm guessing because PNG is not patent encumbered. Yeah, so sometimes it's super weird when you create images, but it will ignore what you put in there. So just be aware of that. But it doesn't matter as long as the image, as long as we can create an image, you'll be fine. Okay, and then the most important thing is the MIME type, and then the image source. We're going to put that eTargets result, and that's it. And again, we have the reader read as data URL. So that's it. Now to create the preview, this is exactly the same as before. It's slightly different this time. You see, we're going to get it from the URL create object blob in container, then the wrapper. We get the div. We put we add the class preview wrapper, and then for our image, the source will be the URL we just created here, and the classes, we're going to add a class called preview image, and then we append this to the append child image, and then the container, we're going to append the wrapper. So if you don't understand what this means, I'll explain what that means. So what that means that this wrapper that we created, its inner child is going to be the image, and then for the container, its inner child is going to be the wrapper. Okay, and then it says image on load, and then to be URL revoke object URL URL. So what this means is This is a function that's self-running. I made tutorials earlier this year. I was explaining how this works, and I think I made some last year as well. So if you need a refresher, you can look at those tutorials. And then now we can create our API handler URL here. You can see it's the upload button. If you press on it, you want click. It's going to check to see if the Resize files actually it's a length. If it's not equal to 0, if it's equal to 0, it will return. If you see these 3 equal signs, that means it's strict. It must be literally equal to 0, not boolean or anything. It's 0. So you can get away with just using 2 of them as well. It will work. And then we create a form data. You guys should be familiar with this. We actually did that in this tutorial earlier today. Resize files with the for each item index. I've done for each loops as well. I believe even this year. So you can look up those tutorials as well out there on ojambo.com or on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey. Okay, then we append the file, the index. That will be the name and the blob item name. So that's it. Upload. Then the upload button, the text is going to change to uploading, and then we're going to disable it. So if you don't disable it, I've seen people do, they will click it again, especially like not even for uploading stuff. I've seen people like when you make payments, they will just so impatient, they'll keep on clicking it. Okay, and then after that, wait for response. You see, we're using the fetch as well, because the fetch URL we set up there. The method is post, the body is just the form data, and that's it. And if the response is okay, we're going to use an alert, say upload successful. The image upload value will reset it. The preview container will reset it. The resize files will be reset. And if there's an error, we'll just get the response, and we'll just in alert. Alert is a little pop-up that pops up, and that's what it's called, an alert. And if there's something else, we catch it, and then we just put upload error. We actually output the error there on the console. You also use the alert. It says an error occurred during the upload. Finally, the upload button, we can say upload resized images, and then the button will be, see, it says disabled equals false, meaning that it actually will be the reverse, meaning that it will not be disabled. So it will be, you'll be able to click on it. So that's the code there. All right, so I'm going to run this code next. So I'm going to grab this, go back to our web browser. Oh, I already have something here. So again, we just I'll just use localhost colon 8000 slash demo hyphen upload hyphen preview hyphen resize.html. Okay, now I'm going to use this same example. So I'm going to go choose files. You see, when I choose files, it only shows the ones which are images. So clearly you can see SVG is an image, JPEG is an image, PNG is an image. For example, if I go to my, should I go to my home folder? I hope I don't have anything embarrassing there. If I go to home folder, you see there's only SVG and WebP. So you see it says even down here, it's only looking for image files. So what I'm going to do is let's go to pictures. You see in pictures, I'm going to do this one here. Yeah, something different today. Okay, I'm going to grab this one, click open. Oh, I can do 2 of them. So let's do this is an SVG. So let's do okay, I'll do this too here. You see this one is 5 megs. You see this one is 5 megs. That's a big file. This one is also 5 megs. So I'm going to do this too. I click open. You see it's 17.7 megs. So that's the 2 we're going to click. Click that, open, and you can see it resized them. Now, could you imagine how big a 5 meg file is going to be? Right? So that's going to be massive. It's going to be extremely big. I'm saying here in the browser, right? So you see this were resized. Now, if you see here, it says 2 files. That's because there's 2 files. If there's only one, you'd actually put the name here. And then you see it says upload resize. If I click this, it would upload it to the endpoint. But remember, I didn't actually set the endpoint yet. So that's that one. That looks a little better, and you can see it puts your files here. So if I don't like this one, you can keep on tweaking this. For example, one of the things you can do is you can, for example, when you put your mouse over it, say replace or something like that, or you can also some fancy things you can also drag. I created a WordPress plugin where it does something similar to this, and then you can also reorder them. For example, it was for a slideshow. It was a unique type of slideshow, so they wanted to be able to, drag. That was my idea. They just wanted. So I was going to put a number here, and then they would, for example, if let's say there's 2 here, and I want this one first. So I was going to put a number here, so you could put a type in the number here, but I thought that would be tedious. Just simply dragging just place them where you want will be easier. So that's what I did. And okay, so that's that one. Okay, so we have yet another one. I'm going to show you that one as well, where we're going to actually now create the one where we're going to actually use the API endpoint. I'll show you that next. Okay, so it's this one here. You see it says demo upload preview resize API. So this one has and I also added this viewport. I don't know if I showed you this viewport will allow it to be used on for example mobile phone. It will just resize to its width, so it's not so tiny by default. That's what it sees. Its initial scale is 1. So here again, the font family, you can use whatever you want. I'm just using sans serif. Margin I set it to 20 pixel. Background is a light off grayish color, and then I just put some gray colors for H1 and H2 tags, and the button and replace label, a cursor pointer, padding 8 pixels for the top and bottom, and left and right is 15 pixels. Body radius I set it to 4 pixels. Font size I set it to 1 EM. I explained this yesterday. So this is not a styling tutorial. You can style this you want. The most important thing about this is the code. So that's what we're looking at here. I mean, CSS is code as well, but I'm saying is that the styling is it's based on what you think is what you like. So it's subjective is what I meant to say. So I'm not gonna do that. Even this one, some people might think it's hideous, it's too much. That's your take on things, which is perfectly fine. So again, as you see here, we use the input, type is file, and multiple is very important if you want to do multiple files. And accept means it's only going to accept image files. Now this can obviously be ignored, so be aware of that. People can what I'm saying is don't rely on this to think that you don't need to do any server-side validation and sanitation, because this can be easily, as you saw in today's tutorial earlier, I was able to circumvent that, right? So I'm saying it's pretty easy. Don't believe that. Don't believe that anything on the client side, the front end is safe, because I said it can easily be circumvented. That's why you have so much spam these days, because most forms, they're circumvented by scammers and spammers. Okay, then we have a button here. It's disabled by default. So this is another way. You don't need to put display none or something like that. Just put disabled. It will automatically do that for you. And then this is the inside. It says upload resized images. Again, we have our preview. And then we have what do we have here? So now we're going to create our we also create the API.php. I haven't shown you that yet, but we'll create it soon. Here is our managed image container. So what this means, this is different from this one. So this managed image container, what it's going to do is it's going to connect to it's going to grab whatever is in the database or whatever has just been uploaded and place it there. So this is a perfect AJAX tutorial as well, because it does multiple things. Not only does it send, it also receives things and puts them in a specific area. So this is a placeholder, and this is a placeholder. Okay. All right. So let me make sure I save that. And then in the JavaScript, you see our API URL. It's api.php. If you're using something else, just put it there. For example, it could be even a remote URL, perhaps. You put it there. And then the max width I set to 800. You can change this to whatever width you want. Then the same as before. So I'm going to skip this part here because we've done this. It's the same thing as before. I'm just repeating myself. The new addition is this one, the manage image container. So we grab it and create in a variable. So this you could use if there was a class, you could use I think it's get elements by class or so tag by class. I prefer to use query selector, but if you're learning, most of the tutorials out there, the old ones at least, they would use get element by ID. So that's why I'm doing this. This is the beginner level tutorial. And then the resize files, again, we've done this, so I'm going to skip that. None of this is going to, yeah, all this is the same. Yeah, this is the same as before. Yeah, all this is the same as before. Same as before. Yeah, all this is the same as before. In case you're wondering what 0.9 means, that's the quality. And create preview, same as before, nothing's different. Now for our upload button, everything is the same except for is there anything different here? No, that's the same. Here, this is the new function, the display list. So this is remember that manage image container. It's gonna, when you first load it up, it's gonna say inner is loading images. Then what it's going to do, it's going to fetch. You see there's a fetch API here. I think there's a, give me a second here. Oh, this is just to post, so that doesn't matter because it's images. So you see here, there's a fetch, it says action equals list, the URL, just appends that. I'm using backticks. The backticks is a way in JavaScript where you can do something like, say, in PHP, where you have, like in docs, you can, or the squiggly bracket. So that this is what allows you to do it in JavaScript as well. It's very, very handy. The reason I like this, same with docs and PHP, is that it allows me to use double quotes and single quotes inside something instead of having to switch around, which would just be a pain in the butt. Or you have to put the append, the dot in PHP. So this is fantastic, being able to do this. And then for the result, again, I explained this earlier today, but I've done several tutorials on this. You get the response as a JSON. So we're doing try catch. And if the result is accessed, we just render the image list. So we're going to create a special function to do this for us. And then the image container say error fetching list if something, remember, is a problem. And the catch, if there's an error, it will say an error occurred while connecting to the server. We're going to actually see this because I'm not going to actually, it might actually work. We'll see. And then the render image list. So it's going to render the images here. Whatever it's going to do, it's going to. So if there's a, you see it's the image.length equals 0, meaning that there's no images. You just say no images have been uploaded yet. And then otherwise, what it is going to go through all the images. It's going to grab obviously the image itself, which will be the URL, and then what it will do is, you see again we're using the backticks here. It will just what it will do is it will, excuse me, what it's going to do is it's going to create an image source tag and then put the image URL in there, and the alt image will be the original name. From, again, that will come in from as a JSON object. And then we have a class called list image, and if there's an error, there will be something put in here, that, and then it will say this image. It will just create, in case you don't know what this is, you see it says svg.xml. So this is a way to, this will be a placeholder image. It'll put a placeholder image, not placeholder image, SVG image. So it will just replace it with this one. I think it's just an X or something. We'll see it later, and that's it. So that's our. Did I mess up the code here? It looks like something's missing. Oops, looks like this code is not finished. Yeah, looks like this code is not finished. I don't see the closing tag. Yeah, I don't see that. So this code is actually not finished. So I'm not even going to bother. This code is not really that important. This code is not that important. So you can even skip this. So I'm just going to, but I just want to show you that's how you create the API. So I can probably just skip this code. I don't even think this code actually works. Actually, I really don't want to run this code. Did I actually do anything here? Let's go check the API. Oh yeah, I did. So this code might actually work. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to drag and drop in here because the code is not important. Let's see here. Actually, it does work. All right. I don't think it works. Let me actually, okay, you know what? Let's actually try that. I don't think it actually works because I can see some mistakes. I guess I made a mistake there. It's localhost again. Slash, what's the name? It's .html. You see, it didn't grab anything from the database and there's no error message. So I'm 100% sure there's some errors here. So if I inspect here, this is the console. Oh, there's nothing there. So there's nothing, and I said I don't really want to use this because, I mean, it does work. So I'll show you how this works. So let's. As you can see, it says no such file or specified. Okay, so that doesn't matter. That's a Chrome thing. That has nothing to do with us. Okay, so let me show you the PHP code. I split things up a little bit. So here's the configuration file. So here's the configuration file. So the configuration file, if you remember, the database name is called that stands for generative AI. I reuse the same database for all these tutorials. And database name is that's a username and password. And the upload, it's gonna go to our uploads folder, which is this one here. And we're gonna use. Did I open the right file? Oh no, okay, yeah. So we're going to use PIDO, which is the PHP data object, and you can see this how it works. The PIDO is it's a generic connector for databases. It supports multiple databases: SQLite, MySQL, MariaDB, Progress, Oracle, MS Server. I think that's what Microsoft calls there. Yeah, so it supports, I think, up to 12. Yeah, so it's generic. So if you notice in today's tutorial earlier today, I actually used MySQL Improve, but you can use the PHP data object. All right, and then we set the attribute to the error mode and error mode exception, and if there's any problem with the catch, we have PIDO exception, we just die because there's no need to continue because we really need a database. So if you ever wonder why you need something like die means it's not going to continue. If this happens, it's just going to kill the application. It's not going to continue. The reason I'm using that is because, as I said, the database is required. Okay, and then here, if the folder doesn't exist, it's going to create it. And these are the permissions. It's going to use mkdir and the folder name, of course, which is from up here. This one here is uploads. And then it's going to give you the permission 0777 and set it to true, meaning that it's going to create it. So that's our config file. What did I change here? Oh yeah, I changed that. I put in the credentials, okay? And then, so that's why that application, if you notice, the reason it didn't work was because of this die, so it just killed it. So that I actually created an error there. But so then next one is the API PHP file. You see this one has 242 lines. So I'm going to go to the top here. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. This is our API endpoint. And as I was saying, our API stands for Application Programming Interface. basically you create APIs every single day with your program. You might not even know it. So for example, if you do handling, anything like that, grabbing something from the database, that's an API. Okay, so here we go. We set the content type to applications as JSON because we know that all our requests are JSON. So we're going to return JSON. And then require once config.php. So why did I use require once instead of require or include? Require once, what it does is it's going to require only one time. I'll explain what that means. So sometimes when you're running multiple things, for example, remember this is our API endpoint. What that means is that it's going to be used for multiple things, not just one thing. So if we use require, what require would do is require would constantly keep on grabbing it. But I said we just need it once, and that's it. So if it has already been required, we don't need to require it again and again and again and again. That's what require once does. So our action, remember there's going to be multiple actions. One is going to be for deleting, one is going to be for replacing, the other one is going to be for saving, as you can see here. Another one's going to be for listing. So we're going to have upload, that will handle the upload. We're going to have a list that will handle the list. We're going to have a delete, and we're going to handle a replace. So what do all these do? Very simple. Upload, when you use the form, it's going to upload. The list is going to grab the list from the database and provide that. Delete, simple enough, it's going to delete the record in the database and delete the file in the uploads folder. Replace, it's similar to delete and upload in that it's going to take the file and delete the existing one, so it's going to replace it. So that's what replace. It's basically going to do delete and upload at the same time. Okay, and then for the default, we're going to put we're going to return response 400, and it's going to say success or the message invalid action specified. So the reason we do this is because, yes, when somebody hits this endpoint, they've successfully hit it, but the problem is success equals false, which is true, and then the message is going to be invalid action. You need to specify an action when you go to our endpoint. So I'm using here what's called a switch break or switch case. Switch case. This is a similar. It's another way of writing if-else statements. If, else, if, else. The reason why some programmers prefer this is because you see it's just the syntax, the way it is. You know what happens here. It's very visually, you can see it very quickly. The problem with if, else, if, etc. is that you might visually you might not know where something goes. This makes it very, very easy. So I don't even need to put comments here. You can easily tell what that does. Okay, then the handler request. This is very similar to what we did earlier today. Global, we get the PDO. Remember, that comes from this one here. The PDO, it's an object really, but a variable globally. And then because we're inside a function, so then if the files are empty, again we just put that response 400 and they echo our JSON false, the same as before, and return. Return means it's not going to continue anywhere. It's not going to continue below that. Okay, so then we have upload account errors. This is very similar to what we did earlier today. The code is pretty much the same. If the file doesn't have an error, remember we're using a for each loop because we're going to have multiple files. We assume that's why it's multiple. It's going to be sent as an array anyway, so we have to loop through it. So if there's a problem, it's going to say error uploading and whatever the file name is and the code of the error, and then it's going to return. Return means it's going to skip outside the full whatever loop you're using. Okay, so sorry, I apologize. It's not break. Continue means it's going to skip and go to the next. It's going to go to the next iteration. Okay, and then this is copied right out from the one from earlier today. Base name means it's going to get only the file name, The file name will be, for example, in Unix or Linux, everything is a file. So for example, when the file is sent, it's going to be put usually in the temp folder or something. So it's going to put something like, let me explain what that means. So you see here it says www.ojambo.com/whatever, and then at the end you have .html. So basically after this slash here, everything here, that's what base name is going to get. So that's going to be our original name. The extension, we use path info, which is another built-in, just like base name, it's a built-in PHP function. So what we do is we use a path info extension underscore extension to give us from the original name. So that will give us our extension. Then we'll create a unique ID. The reason we create a unique ID is, if you notice, I'm using the same files over and over again. So we don't want to have some type of collusion where it overwrites the existing file. So that's why we use the unique, which is another built-in PHP function, and then we use the we attach the extension to that, because unique, it just gives you, I think it's 32 characters or something like that, so it won't have an extension. So we'll put the extension there, and then our target path, remember it's the uploads folder, and then we'll put slash, because the upload folder is going to have the slash already on it. If you remember from up there in the variable, excuse me. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Sorry about that. You see, we're using define. Define are variables where you set them and you don't expect to change them at all. They're not supposed to be changed. That's what define does. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Okay, and then we use moved upload file to its permanent location, which will be in the uploads. Then we insert into images in the database the file name, the original name, the MIME type, and the file size. You can also put uploaded at, like we did earlier. That's all up to you. And we're going to use prepared statements. You can see this is what this question marks are. Those are placeholders. So our prepared statements here, it says prepare SQL, and then we execute. Basically, it's going to replace each of these placeholders with, for example, the unique name, the original name, the file type, and the file size. Okay, then after that we have this uploaded counter, so we just increment it. So the reason we do this is because, remember, some files might be malformed or something. So if you let's say somebody attempted to upload 3 files, one of them was corrupt or was rejected, so it's only 2. So we don't want to tell them like, oh yeah, all your 3 files got uploaded, because that's not true. So that's why we have this uploaded counter. Remember, I told you there's different ways to do your validation and sanitization. So it's in a try catch. So then we have the pedo exception. Obviously that's for the database. If it's not able to do anything, you see it's a DB error, version name, and then the error message. Then unlink. Unlink means it will delete the file, because we don't want the file to, if something went wrong with the database, we want to keep the file, because we'll never be able to delete it. So again, this is I'm showing you guys one of the best practices to do that as well. So that means that even if the file was properly uploaded, but we're not able to save it, it's useless, because that information has to be somewhere, right? If it's not be able to store it, then it's useless for us. Else we so the else means that we're not able to actually move the file into here, so then we don't save it, or either in a database, or its information in a database, or in physically. So if the uploaded count is greater than 0, that means we have saved at least 1 file. We echo the JSON encode success. It says set to true, and the message will say 1 file or 20 files have been uploaded. So this one here should actually be like that. Oops. Uploaded successfully. There's no errors. If there's any errors, you put it in there. For example, maybe 1 file has an error. Else, we're gonna raise the response code to 500, and then what we'll do is we'll echo the JSON. We'll say success false. No files were uploaded, or an error occurred, and that's it. Now to handle the list, we grab the pedo object, we do a query into the database, and we just do a fetch. Now this one, if you notice, we're not using any prepared statements, because this is hard-coded, we're just going to grab the same stuff over and over and over again. So you see there's also upload date, which is the date stamp. So we use fetch all, and then we grab the URL basically from the server, HTTPS on. If it's not, we just go back to HTTP, and then we put to the base URL to the upload folder. Then we use a for each loop for all those images. We just attach it there, and then we echo success, and the data will be the images. Okay, and then if anything else, again, we just the same 500 code. Then to delete is very simple. We get the ID, and what we do is, if it's not numeric, we set the false, but if it is numeric, so we do a prepared statement here, we pass it in, and then we fetch, make sure the file does exist. If it does exist, then we what we do, see it says file -exist, that's a PHP built-in function. We unlink. Unlink is a way to delete stuff. So we delete it there, then we also delete it from the database. And so if it's deleted, then we do all that. So if the file, what do you call it here? Delete record anyway, file already missing. So if the file is missing, let's say maybe the computer crashed or whatever, but you kept the database, but the file doesn't exist, we still delete it in the database, because we still need to delete it even if the file doesn't exist. And then we'll say record deleted by file was already missing or could not be deleted from the disk. Okay, and then we have the replace. Again, we get an ID. We check we get the first and only file, because there's only going to be one file. So we use current, that's another built-in PHP function, and then we check the upload. So this is a different type of upload, and then we begin a transaction for atomicity, and we prepare again another a prepared statement. This is for select. We fetch associate. Associate, if you don't know what that means that it's going to bring the data back by the name of the column. By default, it uses the numbered one, or the column number, so it'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't like that one, because in the future you might rename a column, or you might delete a column, or you might be in some databases you can move them around. So the problem with, if you're relying on numbers, is that it will mess you up, right? So that's why I personally prefer associate. From in the past, people used to prefer the numbered one, but these days most servers, especially, they are even a shared one. They are fast enough that the little performance hit is negligible. So you see, if the old file is there, what we do is we do a rollback. Otherwise what we do is, you see, we do the same thing like we do with the uploads. I'm not even going to bother with this. There we go, and then we can update. The most important thing is here, we're going to update the file to use the same ID, but we're just going to replace. You see, it says update images set file name. Again, we use the placeholders, the question mark, origin name, my name, whatever. Even the current timestamp, we change that, because the current timestamp is going to change. It's not the old one from before, so we change that. So and then we pass in the unique file name, the original name, new file name, the type and the size, and the ID, where it says where ID. Now, so you see here, we set the upload underscore date to equal the current timestamp, so that will update it for us. And if the file exists in the old path, we delete it by unlinking. And then we'll do a commit to commit all the changes. And if something's wrong, we can always do a rollback. Otherwise, we just if the new target exists and the file exists, we can delete it. That means that if we're not able to save it, we delete it, and that's it. That's our code. And obviously 500, that's an error. It will say replacement failed. Okay, so that's our API here. Now I said I'm not going to bother with this one. The one I want to talk about is this one here, the demo preview as well. So this is the one I'm going to show you guys. As you can see, the code is exactly is the same as before. Now what I did is I also added drag and drop. So we go down here, there's some, I said I'm not going to bother with CSS, you guys can that's up to you. So same thing again, the divs for our input and our button, I make sure yours have multiple here. We have a preview, I've already explained that. We have our manage images from the database. Here we have this, I think I went through all of this before. Yeah, so there's only a few things here. So all that code is this. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is the new part here, the drag and drop handler. So as you can see, if you drag and drop, the drag enter, drag over, drag leave, drag drop is a for each, and we prevent the forward behavior. Remember, we did this earlier today. Make sure I save this. The drag enter, drag over, we have specific drop zone add event listener to highlight, and then if it's the opposite, for drag leave, and drop, we unhighlight them. And here's the drop zone add event listener handle drop. We'll explain that later. Here's the other functions. We did this earlier today. For the drop zone, we just add a class called highlight, and obviously unhighlighted, we just remove it. Pretty simple. And our handle drop, we just transfer e-transfer. So we did this earlier today. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Basically, we pass it to our handle file selection. Now we have this fetch and display images. I think, did I go through this? Yeah, so we see the API is going to be action equals, I think I went through this. Yeah, action equals list, same as before. Then we run the image list. We have this is image equals 10. I think I went through I went through this before. It was cut off in the other one, it didn't really matter. So this is what I was saying, it's closed off here. And we have the image info. You see it will say strong, the image name, the file size, because the file size is going to be in bytes. So we're going to divide it by 1024 to convert it into kilobytes. Remember, it's because it's also going to be resized on the upload. So we are pretty confident it's not going to be bigger than a gig. Okay. And let's use like a raw image or something. But remember, I think we've set it to JPEG, so that should not happen. And it's ID here. And then you see there's going to be a button to delete. There's going to be a button to replace. You see the replace here, it's going to be an input, and then for replacing, you actually replace it with a button. Instead of a button, there'll be an input. And you see this one doesn't have, it's accept image, but this one doesn't have a, what do you call it, a multiple, because you're going to replace one file. Okay, and then we have the manage container append child. I explained that before. So here the manage container, deleting. So we have a button. Are you sure you want to delete? So it's confirm. It's a little dialog that pops up, and the rest of the code is here. You can see here, everything is exactly the same. You see we grab the stuff from the database. You see result equals success. So somebody asked earlier today is why am I using JSON? So I explained that with JSON, you can just use the dot to grab if we go back to our API here, you see here, for example, this one says success, false. So if I want to grab this, I will just simply be data.success. If I want to grab the message, it will be data.message. So it makes it much more easier than having to do, for example, I was saying if you use XML, you have to tweak it in the PHP side and then also on the JavaScript side. JSON just makes it so much easier. JSON is just passing an array, the square brackets here. Use JSON underscore encode in PHP, and then it can be handled very simple, especially with the fetch stuff. Very, very simple. Make your coding life so much simpler. Here you see fetch and display images and delete here, and then we can change the target content and target disabled false. That's pretty simple. So let's go. Is there another one with this one? Oh, this is to replace. So it's pretty much the same thing, resizing and replacing, the same as before. Replacing is literally the same as the previous code, except obviously it's only one file. We're not doing multiple files. And then when this content is loaded, I mean the page is loaded, the first thing it's going to do is fetch and display images. Okay, so that well, that explanation took a while. So we're going to actually try this one. So this is this one here. I'm going to copy this. See, this one is this has a drag option as well. So I wanted to keep it similar to what we did earlier today. So we go here, and I'll just, no, not localhost 192. No, what did I do? I forgot already. Is it localhost? Okay, I think I was using localhost. Yeah, localhost. 8000 slash. That's because I forgot to put that HTML. So you see here, it's saying error fetching list, failed to list base table or view not found. Table guy images does not exist. So the reason for that, if we go take a look at our code here, the API, unlike earlier today, you see this one does not create a table, right? This one does not create a table if it does not exist. Remember, in earlier today, the code, we were able to create the table for us. So what I'm going to do then is, no, that's not a problem. So everything is working except for that. So what I'll do is I'll go to PHP MyAdmin, and I have to create the table. So the table is very similar to the other one. So let's go and create that table. So I'll show you how to do this in PHP MyAdmin. What I do is I go to the database, I create a new table, I call it images. Okay, I don't remember how many, I think I need, how many do I need? Yeah, so this will tell me how many I need. So I need an ID, so that's one. I need the original name, I need the file name, I need the MIME type, I need the file size, I need the upload upload time. So with that, that's going to be 6. So I need 6 columns. I'm going to grab this as well because I'm going to need this. Okay, so we go here. So I'm going to put 6 here. You can always delete one if you don't need it. Okay, so this is going to be ID. The last one here is going to be, where's the timestamp here? So you can put, I'm going to put timestamp, and the default value, you see, a current timestamp. So that's nice and simple. Okay, so now I just need to grab the names. So the name of this one is called update date. And this one is file size. I'm gonna make this one, I'm gonna do the lazy way. Okay, I'm gonna do the lazy way. I'm gonna pick text. You should really use varchar or something, but I'm just gonna do the lazy way. Here, MIME type, I'm also gonna use text. I should really use, text is a little bit of, it's too much, but I said I'm just being lazy here. I should really use varchar. Define it. Okay, and then this ID here, I want to make it auto incrementing. So what I do is, where do I make it? No. So I dislike using, this is one of the reasons I dislike using, what do you call it? Small screens, because I don't see where you make it into, auto increment. So I pick auto increment here. Yes, it's going to make it a primary. That's what I want. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So then you just click on save. And you see it has created ID, file name, origin name, MIME type, file size, and upload date, which is the timestamp. By default, it's going to use the current timestamp. Yeah, so that's it. That's our That's our code there. Simple way. Oops, this is actually wrong. The file name should not be an int. It should be, so you can change this one. You just click on it and click change, and change this to text or varchar. That's up to you. Text does not have a length. Text does not have a length. So so there we go. So that's correct. Now if I go back to our page here, and you see it failed, the table doesn't exist. So if I refresh, you see it says now no images have been uploaded yet. So this gives me two options. I can upload files here by choosing them, or I can drag and drop here. Remember, this is multiple, that's why it says file. Now you guys saw earlier how when I put it there, it put how many files in there. So we're going to try, we can try both ways. So I'm just going to do one file for now. I'm going to grab this file, drag it here, you see. It's not as pretty as the one I did earlier today, but good enough. And you can see the preview also works. The preview also works the other way as well. Now you can improve this by doing things like, obviously I said have an X where you can just replace it right here, or specific one, drag it. Yeah, so there's so many things you can do. All right, so you say no images have uploaded yet. So now I'm going to click upload resized image. It asks me, remember this is what I was telling you about the alert. So the alert, it says one file uploaded successfully. That's okay. And you can see, I know this file uploaded successfully because you see it put this information here. You see the name of the file, the size, the ID. See, I can delete it here and I can replace it. So just a second before we do all that, and you see in our uploads folder here, we have this image right now. You see, this is the image here. Now if we go to the database, remember our database was empty because we literally just created it. So I just click here, and you can see inside our database, this is the file name. That's it. Remember that unique ID. This is the original name. The MIME type, it's image/JPEG, and the file size whatever this is. This is in kilo. This is bytes. This is in bytes, I believe. And then the upload date, as you can tell, it's 21:58. Yeah, that's the time of the server, which is actually correct. So if I look at the file size, so remember I told you, even if you put JPEG or whatever, it doesn't matter. It will. Like I said, Chrome is a little wonky. So let's actually check. Let's see the file size of this guy to see if it actually did resize it. So I can't get the image information. I think it's because it converted this to a JPEG. So I probably need to, I think I need to open this up in GIMP. So let me open up in GIMP. GIMP will tell me, is it GIMP that does it? GIMP will actually give me the information about this file. So let's check it out, the proper information. So you see what happened here, I did some convert, that's fine, I can convert it. So the image, you see it's 800 by 800. So GIMP did resize it. In case you guys on a smaller screen, you see GIMP, GIMP tells me it's 800 by 800. So that's that. So it is 800 by 800. I expect this is probably a JPEG. This is a JPEG. So this is the file size is actually bigger than before. So it's actually a JPEG. And so it says AVF. So I'm saying you guys can fix that. This tutorial is just to show you how you can upload. You can upload things. This is really actually a JPEG. So even though it was sent as an AVF file, it's actually a JPEG. Okay, so that's one way to do that. Now I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to use a JPEG. Maybe I'll use one of these older images. Let me actually see. I'm going to find a JPEG, and I'm going to upload a couple of JPEGs. Let's go back here. I'm going to actually, let me use this one. It'll be easier. This is what I want. So I can use, here. Remember those two big JPEGs we had before? So these are the ones. You see, this one is 5.9 megs. This is 5.8 megs. So let's upload these. Hold down the control key. Click open. You see it says 2 files. Do you see how quickly that was? I'm going to upload this to oversized images. It says 2 files uploaded, and here are those 2 files. Now look at the file size. You see it's 3294.4 kilobytes and 309.3 kilobytes. So what happened? they got they were uploaded, and JavaScript resized them. So you don't need to resize on the server side. JavaScript can do the resizing for you. So these are JPEGs. Now, if I actually go to the uploads folder, they're here. You see they're still in the, these were vertical images, meaning they were landscape. This image here was a square. These ones were, what do you call it, rectangular. Or, yeah, they're because they came from the phone. And they're still that size. You can see they're just cropped off here. So they're still there. So for example, this image, remember, you see it says there are 316 kilobytes, and the other one is 337.3 kilobytes. So what does that mean? That means that our resize worked fantastically. Now, for example, I'm going to check the properties of this one. This image properties should work, yeah, because it's a JPEG. It's 800 by 1067. It's clearly because we're only resizing based on the width and not the height, so it did resize. Now if I go to the original image, where was the original image? The original image was, oops, excuse me, was it here? No, tutorial. The original image was in the gallery here somewhere. Just a second. Yeah, HTML. Oops. Oh, I didn't have to go here. Oops, I forgot I didn't have to go here. This one is the original. This is just it's a link to the original image. But if I go to properties, you tell me. Oh, what am I doing? What was the size of this one? This one was 1024 by 1024. Remember, so it's going to resize 800 by 800. Where did I grab that image from? Oh, it was from the. Okay, I remember now. I grabbed those images from pictures, was it? Yeah, this is here from pictures. So these images were originally, look at the size. You see, they were 3000 by 4000. So they got they're JPEGs, by the way. So they got resized to 800 for the width, and obviously because the height was actually bigger than the width, that's why you see the height. The height is still bigger than the width. So there we go. So this was the tutorial, and I see a little bit more styling here to make it look like a photo. You see I gave it a little shadow, and I said this is not a styling tutorial, but you can make it any way you want. So I can delete. So let's delete some of these images so you can see that as well. So if we go to the uploads folder, before I do that, I'll show you the database as well. So here's the database. If I do a refresh, you can see this is a JPEG. Obviously you got the JPEGs properly here, and you can see the sizes and the date as well. So, oh, you know what? I should actually replace. Yeah, that's what I should. I should actually replace one of the images before we delete them. So let me actually do that. So let's go back to our guy here. So I'm going to replace. Let's say I want to replace this image. So I click replace. Let me see if I have another tall image I can replace it with. Okay, I'm going to replace it with our good friend here, the tux. It's a small image, but who cares? It's a very small image. I should really use a big. No. Let me not. Oh, I wonder if it will upscale. Let's grab that and see if it will upscale. So you see it has replaced properly. It says image ID 3. So image ID 3 was this guy right here. It replaced it. So I click OK. And you see our tux, the penguin, replaced that image. So replaced does work. I'm curious to see what it did here. Did he actually resize it? No, it didn't upscale it. So it was smart enough. It did not upscale because this image is 400 pixels. So it didn't bother upscaling it. It just left it because it was clearly, if you remember the code I showed you guys where it says if the width is bigger than our specified, wait, we'll leave it as well. So that's it. Now let's say I want to delete this guy here. So again, I can delete it. I just click delete, and you see this is the confirmation here. It will say, are you sure you want to delete image number 3? And you see it's also here in the data. Oh, before I do that, let me check the database. Clearly it's in the database. If you notice, this is what it looks like here. If I hit refresh, you see now it's using tux the penguin. Okay, and look at the date changed as well here. The date stamp, you can see it did change as well. yeah, so because I did it about 4 minutes later than the previous one, so that changed. Now I said you can do multiple files, and you can drag and drop multiple files as you saw. You can also do it the other way. So that all works. So back here again. So now before I hit, yeah, so you can drag and drop multiple files here, or use the the input to use the file manager. So this here is exactly the same as this. What I just did here is, so I'm saying is you can incorporate this code from here into here. That's all up to you. So let's actually delete tax penguin here. So I click delete. You see again here, and then watch this file here. So I click delete. See, it says the image has been deleted successfully. Okay, great. It was deleted here. Now we're going to check our database. I'm going to refresh. You see it's gone. There's only 2 images now. So that's the tutorial. Okay, so I hope, I know this has been a long one. It's not actually that long. It says it's only been an hour and 37 minutes. So that should help anybody who wants to learn PHP, or if you want to do a quick refresher. So having a form, in this case an upload, is an easy way to explain how to create files, delete files, replace them, and also some database functionality as well. And so this is much better. You see, I'm able to upload bigger files, and it's much faster because it puts them in a folder instead of like what we did before, saving them inside the database. Another thing I want to show you guys before we close up here is if I go to, I click on the database, we can check how much data is being used for each table. So if I scroll down here and I scroll this way, you can see 1.5 meg when you're saving the images inside the database. So that's not a smart thing to do, but so that's this one here. It's called the uploaded files. I'm going to check on, where's images? Here's images. We're going to compare. So uploaded files is the third from the bottom, and this images is right here. So I click on that one. So you see the images it has 2 records, but that's irrelevant. It's only taking 16.0 kilo KIB, and you see this one is 1.5 MIB. So you can imagine if you have super. So if you still want to use the database, that's up to you. You can resize it. I've shown you guys how to resize. This was actually requested by a subscriber, so I told him I was gonna do preview next week, but I said I can do it now because I want to show you guys how to upload and resize videos. So I want to do that next week. So I wanted to get this out of the way, so I can always point to this tutorial if people say, hey, how do I resize images? How do I resize this? How do I do a preview? Now you guys know. Okay, so with that said, I think that's the end of the coding part of this tutorial, and here's the final product. So there we go. That's our final product here. As you can see, the preview, and yeah, so you stay on the page. That's what AJAX does. It lets you stay on the page. So I can always upload files, and they'll automatically just show up here without reloading the page. Okay, so what else do I want to show you guys? Yeah, so that's basically it. Now, so this tutorial is yeah. So obviously this is live stream. I'm going to push the same stuff I pushed earlier today. Is that if you're ready to master PHP, this background process is a core skill for any serious web developer. If you're a beginner ready to dive deep into PHP, I highly recommend checking out my resources. I have a book called Learning Python. It's available on Amazon. It's a perfect structured guide for building a strong foundation in PHP. The link is also in the description. I also have a course. It's available on jamboshop.com. It's a comprehensive online course designed to take you for novice to confident PHP developer. The course comes with a web ID, so you don't need to have a text editor or anything. You can do everything right on in your web browser. It's also, I made sure it's also friendly for if you want to learn on your mobile device, it'll work there as well. And if you need hands-on help with your projects, I'm available for one-on-one programming tutorials and services like framework updates or migration, even just if you want to learn something deeper, complex stuff. You can contact me for direct consultation at ojambo.com/contact. With that said, I want to tell you that I also make a live stream every day at 2 p.m. Eastern time. What you do is you go to ojambo.com, you go to the watch menu, live sub menu, you can see topics for this and upcoming tutorials. And as I said before, we have a very fun tutorial tomorrow. Don't miss it. I'll probably do another night stream as well. We're going to do AI, video generation. But this time we're going to use the text to video 14B model. And there are a lot of tips. Don't miss that tutorial. And also, as usual, in the live streams, you're free to join in the live chat and post anything about programming or lifestyle topics. And there's always a link for the articles like this in that watch live sub menu. There's always links. It will tell you where to what channel the live stream is going to be on. I'm trying to make the live streams for all Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, and YouTube all at the same time. And I think I've found it with this script. It seems to be working extremely well, so I'll keep doing it that way. The other thing is each of those articles, there's always a little bio at the end. It will give you a direct link to my books, my bookshop, and if you need support to my services, ojamboservices.com, and also to the courses, online courses at ojamboshop.com. And I also have two more resources before I let you guys go. The first is that I live in a rural area and the service for internet and cellular service is not very good. It's sporadic. So I use SpaceX Starlink. I mean, where I am, I'm not saying all over because some people actually have, some people have like gigabit connection. So I guess it's a lack of the drop. So I use SpaceX Starlink, the residential service. So I do have a referral link. It's attached to the bottom of each of those articles. So pick any article, it will be there. I'm going to put all the referral links going forward there. So for example, if you're thinking of getting the residential service, use my referral link because I'll get 1 month free. That's when you can support me, and you yourself will also get a discount. I'm not depending on your geographical location. Some people get a heavy discount on the equipment. For example, I have Generation 2, and some people get some months discount or other type of credits as well. So it depends on your geographical location. But if you think you get it, use my referral link. I also use it for my phone. So because cellular service is sporadic here. So what that means is I use Wi-Fi calling, as you guys saw. I can prove it to you that I do have Wi-Fi calling. I'm just gonna pull up the phone here, and oh, here we go. You can see it says I have a message. That was when I started this tutorial. Remember, the client called me, and there we go. You should be able to see that. You see the little icon. Come on, focus. There we go. Close as possible. There we go. So you can see the phone icon. That's a Wi-Fi calling. So that means I can call, receive text, as I just showed you that text I received with the Wi-Fi calling. That means that you can be anywhere around the world. As long as your Wi-Fi, you connect to it, you'll be able to call and receive voice calls, text messages, and send text messages, MMS, as well as if you were in an area where your cellular service is so-called local, where you don't have to pay roaming charges. So it's been fantastic for me. Okay, and what else? Oh yeah, I'm also promoting this month my novelette. It's called the Algorithmic Serpent. It's available on Amazon. You can go to my bookshop there. You see Edward Ojambo there, that's my name. It's about a scientist who creates an AI system and he loses his mind. So not only does he have to regain control of his mind, but he also has to regain control of the AI. It's a psychological thriller. This is the paperback version. You can see here. See, it's a paperback version. There's also an ebook version. If you do have Kindle Unlimited, the ebook version is free. So take a look at it, even if you just get the free version. The reason is I made this very affordable as a test run. I just want to see if I like writing, and not just about programming. Of course, I love programming, but I also like writing about other things. So I want to see if you guys make this popular enough. It will not necessarily motivate me, but it will encourage me to create other stuff. But you can't be programming all the time. There are things I like, for example, like the chickens, building the shed. It just inspires me. All things inspire me. Okay, with that said, I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to shut down this live stream. Before I do that, I'm going to check all the live streams to make sure there's no nobody's wanted to chat. So first I'm going to go to BitChute. I don't see a chat request, so that's fine. Next I'm going to go to Odyssey. Where is the chat in Odyssey? Oh, it says live stream chat. Okay, I don't see one there. And then I'll go to Rumble. I don't see a live stream chat. Okay, that's fine. And then YouTube, I don't see one there. So yeah, that's perfect. I can end this pretty soon. Also, be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. That helps the channel grow and helps people find content like this. For example, I was inspired to make this tutorial today because of subscribers. You don't have to be a subscriber, but if you post something, I don't mind doing a more in-depth tutorial like this one. So for example, this is more relaxed, meaning that if you guys were asking questions, obviously it'll take a little bit longer, which is perfectly fine. And what I'm saying is that the 2 p.m. one is a little bit difficult to take it too long, because what happens with the 2 p.m. one is I have to finish and I have to go, take care of the chickens, do some yard work, and finish the build of the shed. And especially when the weather, here in southern Ontario, the weather is changing, meaning that the daylight is getting, or the time of the day is getting shorter. So I want to make sure the chickens have at least 2 hours outside a day, and where I can look after them if need be. Okay, with that said, guys, good night, and see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe. Bye now. Have a great day or good night, wherever you are. Bye now.